Hey everybody. Today is June 14th. It's been an incredibly dry spring so far. We were supposed to get a third of an inch of rain yesterday, and that didn't happen. We now might be getting some rain today, but who knows how much. Figured it was a nice, cool day. Good chance to take a look at some of the things that have been going on and provide a little update as to what we've got rocking around the farm. So here we go. You can see our little roost out potato bed, some interplanted onions. It's coming in nicely. I will say one of the things I have noticed, and this may be just my own issue, is I'm not getting great coverage down the middle with some of our straw, and it feels wobbly. So we're probably going to come in with some more aged compost and something to just kind of firm up in the center of the stalks, make sure that we've got good coverage. It might just be a matter of how the potatoes have pushed themselves through the straw mulch, but we'll address it and make sure that they feel nice and firm. You'll notice we do have some insect browse on these guys. It is the Colorado potato beetle. Luckily, I have not been seeing large numbers of them, although I do spot another one right now, so let's go get him. So this is the culprit right here. We're just gonna get rid of him. Now, one of the things that we do is we don't spray anything. So there are no insecticides. I don't even make use of neem. We are considering doing an application of Bacillus thuringiensis. Probably mispronounced that, but that's all right. I'm a speller, not a pronouncer. But one of the concerns is that they can fully defoliate a plant to the point that it is unable to produce tubers. And so we do come out and check the leaves, look for any eggs, any hiding guys. Their eggs will look like that right there. Those little orange specks in that hole. They will also feed on solanaceae plants, like the tomatoes. I've heard they will go after certain varieties of pepper as well. You can see, again, that like general floppiness that I'm concerned about. But so we've just been walking this fine line between getting rid of most of the eggs to manage to not have a huge population boom, but we also try to encourage a lot of the predatory and the predatory wasps that come through and habitate this area. Theoretically, we have at least one variety native to the area that will pick off beetles, and if not them, we do have damsels, and we have dragonflies, and all sorts of bird population wildlife that's coming back. So yeah, we'll be in good shape. But our overall philosophy is to let some of the pest species survive. This is too many eggs in one spot, so we're gonna get rid of those. You can just squish them. It's not too gross. It's not too bad. You can see our line of squash coming up in this next bed. Theoretically, I could thin, but we're going to see which ones, we're not really watering this bed, we're going to see which ones perform the best, and then we're going to select seed from those for next year so that we can continue getting hardier and hardier crops that need a little less water, because it seems to me that we are receiving less rainfall in the past few years than our historical norms would suggest we would receive. We've got our tomatoes on the west of the squashes to make sure that the squashes don't get shaded out. And so all of our beds, you may have heard this before, built with a lot of wood chips, horse manure, straw, cardboard, and logs. Every year we just kind of build it up. You can see this guy right here, 2 years old. 2 years old, performing very nicely. You can see our beets and carrots. And I haven't actually really weeded in this area before. I've pulled maybe 1 or 2 plants. But really, as bad as they get is like this. We'll just go like that. Those guys can feed something else. So I am a big fan of our method of building raised beds. I'll put a link to what we did to get this guy started. This was actually full of squashes and kales and I want to say beets and a couple of other leafy greens last year. Went gangbusters. I never watered it a day during last year's drought. Got food out of it all summer. This year we are turning it over to root vegetables so that we can get a little bit more depth to it, and then we'll hill it back up and do something else next season. I may start, as we pull, planting in more. You can see this next bed over here. We are going for our second set of salad beds. This is pretty much a chaos garden of lettuce, leafy greens, and the like. There are some nasturtiums and I want to say marigolds in here as well, just to provide a little extra forage for the pollinators so that we can have a little bit of predation in the area still. I think long term, what we're going to end up doing once this growing season is over, I think what I'd like to do, this may be a little bit easier to see. They're not quite lined up, but I think we're going to trench down the middle and do a little bit of hilling on each edge, and then a second path so that we can have kind of a nice looking, easy to manage, easy to plan garden space for our annual vegetables. Then as we go, we'll consider turning this over into more perennial food crops and things. But for right now, this is going to grow a whole bunch of food for me this summer, and I'm pretty excited about it. But I'm going to show you a few more things before we go. Stick around. So here we have one of our hascat berries. In fact, if you look, you can see some of the berries almost ripe. I want to say this is Blue Dream as a cultivar. I could have that wrong. I'm not sure where my notes are right now. However, this is a patented, copyrighted cultivar, so it is not one that I'm going to be selling. But I can take the improved fruit, which will be biologically distinct from its parentage, and it will not have the same chromosomal profile, so it will not be patented because it's a little bit more random. So I don't have a problem making cuttings and doing a whole bunch of mounding to get more of these so that I can get more fruit of plants that I can later sell or just propagate out or give away to friends for free. But yeah, there's a whole range of plants. Elderberries, haskaps, raspberries, blackberries. I've heard amelanchiers. I've seen Akiva silver from Twisted Tree Nursery do it with apples. Mounding, hilling, stool layering, it is also called, is a great way to get more plants from one plant. I will also do something like a tricolor willow. Took some cuttings from a friend's tree, drove one end into the actual dirt so that it'll, thanks pal, so that it'll be able to access some of the ground moisture. But then it's just mounding it up, putting a little bit of compost around at spots, and a lot of plants will just start to root into that rich material. We have done it a second time with another native variety of plant. I'm not gonna lie, I honestly at the moment don't remember what I called this, but I will pop a description into the video itself, so look for that here. This was not in the greatest shape when we first got it. This was actually at a garden sale from our local master gardeners, and the site of their sale was vandalized the night before. This tree was completely removed from its pot and the roots were exposed for at least 12 hours. And when we got it for $1, it was hurting. So you can actually see fresh growth, and you can see the quality of the color in those leaves now that this is in contact with actual soil and covered in a great compost. We made an executive decision to add some red yarrow, and one of my newer plants, it's a little tough to see, but that is Pygnanthemum virginianum, Virginia mountain mint. Cute little rhizomal spreader, not nearly as aggressive as actual mints, but nice to make in teas. So we've got these trees, we've got these plants that readily root into available composts and soils when they are laid in. There was a small divot made for the root mass of this tree, the potting mix. It was not solid, and you could tell that it had been removed and not super happy. But one of the things that you can do, I highly recommend it, is get your hands on a copy of Durr's manual, reference manual for the propagation of woody perennial plants. The book is awesome. I use it for reference almost every day. Can't speak highly enough of it. It goes into propagation of all sorts of woody plants, and one of the things that I'm just using as a basis for experimentation this year is finding a bunch of plants that it says don't necessarily need any kind of IBA rooting hormone for cutting propagation. When I see that, I have an inkling that these plants will root readily if I were to plant them nearly perpendicular and then cover them with some good compost. Highly recommend it. I'll put a little blurb about it into the video so you can take a look for it yourself. I highly recommend it. If any of you love this pawpaw, if any of you have similar books but for herbaceous plants, I'd love to get some references, so I'll happily ask for that. If you know a good reference book for propagation of herbaceous plants, wildflowers, cultivated flowers, those sorts of things, I'd certainly be game to check it out. You can see I do not water these plants a lot. Hardship breeds resilience. The important thing, in my opinion, is setting up systems that will sequester and hold the water for the plants. That way your management can be minor. You can focus on other things. Just a quick little special shout out to my darling little Nanking cherry. Friends of the channel may recognize this guy as the dead little bundle of sticks in the ground last year. He's trying super hard, and I'm very proud of him. You can see some of the wild strawberries that are dotting the landscape around him. This is going to be a real great space when this finally comes in. A little Nanking cherry, some comfrey. We have hazelnut right there. Hazelnut will long term come in, most likely impact the shape of our plum tree, but small amounts of management will make this a very nice space. You can see our Jerusalem artichokes starting to come up. If I had not had that tree fall earlier this season, I would have had Apios americana or the groundnut planted in with them to use the Jerusalem artichokes as trellising, and then I could solidify just an every other year type of harvest of the roots in that area. But that's alright, we'll get some more soon. But yeah, I'm all told pretty happy with the way this space is coming out this year. Our asparagus is growing nicely. I'll be looking forward to future meals out of that. We have some more willow plantings, lingonberries, cohosh and arnicas coming in. Very exciting. So, wherever you guys are, hope you're getting rain. Hope you're having a wonderful growing season. Promise. A duck update is coming soon, and we'll also have a video hopefully soon starting to talk about our philosophy of converting a forest into a food forest. Till then, though, be well and happy planting. Thanks for watching.